Chemo, let me say something.
Nice couple. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me just say something.
Say something when he's got the fucking
put,
internet of somebody better.
I just put probably the most. Can you hear me?
No.
The video in the chat. The video in the chat is probably the most important video that will be passed around the internet in the year 2021. You need to watch it, and you will find out what is fixing to happen very quickly. Thank you very much. The doctor went in front of the school board and explains everything for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So, what's the independent variable in a sunset?
Well, you know, in this case, you've got the sun disappearing, not changing size, angular size, and these things. So you're like, that's curious, right? That is a curious situation, right? We agree with that, yeah?
Yes.
But what's going on? Why isn't that getting smaller in nature? Yeah?
Yeah.
We can all agree on that, yes? So now, that's the observed phenomena in nature. That's your first step.
Yeah, sunset. Yes, yes. Yeah, the point where the sun goes below the horizon. Yeah, that's your observed phenomena.
So you might do a little bit of research now. Figure out, well...
What's the cause?
Well, no, you want to do research.
No, I want to know the cause. You said this is your experiment that you accept.
Yeah, but you have to do research also.
Sure.
Okay, you've done the research.
Done a bit of research.
I'm asking about the experiment that you accepted, and what is the experiment?
We're
what are the variables?
We're not there yet. Bit of research. Then now you can get to thinking. You can think, is that because of curvature? So in your research, you'll find out if water can do what you think it might, can, or can't do. Okay, it's not curvy. That's what the research shows. It's not an experiment. It's just research. Yeah. So then you think, right?
So you can learn things from research.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, because like I just said, everything doesn't require the scientific method. You can know things without the scientific method.
I'm trying to get
my research, I found that based upon the forces acting.
I never argued that you can know things without science, but when we're talking about the natural and physical world with phenomena, it requires the scientific method.
You're such a clown.
Well, it may seem like that now, Lewis, but again, in the future, when you're older and you understand these things, you will have a better, clearer mind on how the world works. So, my variable would be, okay, so this has to be, this is just my mind, I don't know yet, I'm just how I'm thinking. This has got to be...
When they give you your funeral, Chemo, they will have clown makeup on you.
Well, let's hope not, Lewis. Let's hope, we get a good send-off, and, but like I say, it seems like that now. Very stressed. But like I said, when you grow up and you mature, things will seem a lot different.
What's your independent variable in this experiment that you accepted as science?
Yeah, so like you've got this sun not changing size. Do a little bit of thinking. I'm thinking that the atmosphere is acting like a lens here.
Yeah, it magnifies things, so the sun would never disappear.
Is that? I'm not sure if it is. Is that acting
so
like a lens?
Be the cause. Yeah,
again, you don't know. You don't know. You're still hypothesizing. You're still predicting the cause.
Yeah. So what's your independent variable?
So that's what I'm getting to. So in your mind, you're thinking the cause of this sun phenomena here is some kind of lensing effect.
No. No, it isn't.
That's my hypothesis.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you manipulate the atmosphere?
I haven't done it. I'm just still in the hypothesis stage.
No, but you said that you have an experiment.
Not yet. Not yet. Stop jumping the gun. Not yet. Right now, I did my research. Now I'm hypothesizing. I'm like lensing of some kind. So now this is the important part. Now, man. Now I need an experiment. Yes. Is something we're going to do in the laboratory, yeah? Understand?
Sure, but
Not
you
always.
have to manipulate the atmosphere, yeah, in the laboratory. Sure.
No. I said my hypothesis.
I mean,
was...
it would be extremely stupid to say that the atmosphere is made out of glass, because it isn't.
I mean, again,
It's
the
not a
effect.
lens.
We have effect and we have a cause. So my
Yes,
cause is that there is a
going up.
lensing effect going on.
So your
dig?
independent variable is
And you
what?
jive with that, yes?
What is your independent variable? Lensing effect.
Some kind of lens or lensing, maybe a magnification. I don't know. Yeah, I've got to do an experiment. I've got
Where
to
do you
do. Look,
Wait.
no one knows this yet because we're not in the experimental stage. All I'm doing is asking questions to myself and about the situation. Is that a lens or lensing or magnification? I don't know yet. No experiment has been done, right?
Okay, so you're not in the experiment stage.
Not in the experiment. I'm like, is that lensing? All those things, right?
Small man, let him go through it so we can get this done.
I know, he keeps on stopping me and stuff. But it's kind of good in a way because we get through the steps meticulously. So we're at that point now. Right, now I need, because my hypothesis is a lens of some kind, I need to get a lens of some kind. You see? So that causes this effect of things not getting smaller.
The purpose of your experiment is to try and prove your hypothesis wrong.
No, that's the heliocentric way of science.
No, that's science.
No, again, that's the heliocentric way. You know, again,
What you're trying to do is just going to say in your own mind that, oh, it didn't prove it wrong, so it could still be right. I'm gonna keep going.
No, because the way you do it, you presuppose the situation without actually observing anything.
Yeah,
Wait,
this
you
is
just
why you're a clown.
I know it seems like that now, Lewis, but like I say, once you grow up and mature, it will seem a lot different for you.
You know that you presuppose that the atmosphere
Well,
is a lens.
that's one of the biggest fundamental issues with globe earthers is that they hypothesize. I mean, how do you predict something? How do you predict something to something you haven't seen before?
Timo, you just hypothesized there's a lens.
What?
You assume that the atmosphere is a lens.
I said some kind of lens. And again, in the hypothesis stage,
That's an assumption.
in
You know
this
that, right?
hypo stage, I can just think about what the possibilities are, my prediction, right?
Yes,
Right.
hence
The
you
idea.
hypothesized supposed.
Yeah, I'm just
You're ready to
like,
get
that
the
looks,
idea.
I'm like, after the
Here's a-
research, I'm like, that's like some kind of lensing of some kind, I'm sure.
Right,
Again,
you just complained about this method for
no, I
the
didn't.
global.
No, I never, because Lewis didn't have an observed phenomenon. We do.
No, we were both assuming the same observed phenomenon.
No, Lewis didn't see anything. He just hypothesized off his own head. Went to bed, hypothesized, and said, let me try and confirm that or not.
So
That's not how we do things around here. What we do is we have, in the natural physical world, we observe a phenomenon like sunsets, like things falling, and then we predict the cause to that effect, and then we...
Now you're just fabricating
No.
things that never happened.
And then we hit the laboratory, and then we start pumping out the experiment.
You don't have to have a laboratory.
Yeah, and how can the atmosphere works as a lens? There's no pressure or density, as your words say. So how can it act
Well,
like a
again,
lens?
all of that is like a mathematical equation, what you're looking for. All I'm
Everything
doing...
I said was addressing your epistemology, you fucking moron.
Lewis, it may seem like that now. So all I'm trying to do, Mole Man...
It doesn't seem like that. That is the way it is.
I understand.
All
Lewis.
you try to do
I
is
understand.
backhook your...
So, Momans, look.
You obviously do not understand what he just said.
Yes, all is understood. What I'm getting at there,
No,
Mole
you
Man,
did not understand what he said.
remember, Mole Man, if
No, you did not
hypothesis-
understand what he said.
if hypothesis agrees with experiment, Mole Man, it's
Yeah.
correct, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
my
Show me
hypothesis
the lens.
is some
Show
type of
me
lens.
the physical lens in the atmosphere.
I said some kind of lensing.
Yeah? Show me that lens.
Right, so when we go into the lab, we can...
Lab?
Why lab? Why not Earth? Why not outside? What do you need a lab for?
He
Why
can do it in
doesn't
the
the
lab.
lens- Why doesn't the lens affect airplanes or mountains or
Why don't I
anything
take the
other
lens
than...
indoors? Why don't I take the lens outside for?
Airplanes get smaller when they get away.
An aeroplane?
Yeah, get smaller.
Yeah, but we don't know what the sun is, right?
Oh, so you're making science of something that you have no idea about.
Yeah, we're just going with the cause and effect of what we observe, yeah?
Yeah, but you don't know what you observe then.
Yeah, we just see an effect though, yeah?
Sure, what is the effect?
You said it doesn't get smaller in angular size.
No, the effect was the sunset, not the angular size of the sun.
Or,
said
and
it
it
yourself.
appears to go behind the horizon, yeah. So both things. It appears to go below, when in actual fact it's going straight across the ground, still in the sky. Can we
How do you know that?
replicate
How
that?
do you know that? That's an assumption.
No, because after the research, the water cannot curve around the exterior of an object, large bodies like that.
How do you know that?
And is that somehow connected to this lensing? Why do you bring the water all of a sudden?
Oh,
Stick
because
to what you said.
part of the research was, is the sun going behind, like...
That's not research, that's a question.
Yeah, so I asked myself in the research, well, is it because it's going around curvature? So that was my null.
Okay, and we can go to the lab, get a ball and a light source, move that light source around the ball, and observe the light setting and rising.
Mm-hmm.
So, hypothesis is correct.
What, did you hold the ball?
Yeah.
So who's holding the ball in your model?
In my model, I'm talking about the sunsets. I mean, you said that there's a glass lens in the sky. So,
Well, I said some kind of lensing.
sure. What
kind of
holds the what
So
holds
because
the
there's
bladder?
water in the atmosphere, you can get
Is
this
there?
lensing.
Is there?
Does water vapor magnify things?
You can take well, no, it distorts. Well, yeah, if you put like a pencil in a cup,
Oh, yeah. Well, no.
it will
Is
like
that water
make
vapor?
it makes it look a little bigger, right?
Is that water vapor? And is that a curved container? What if I was in a rectangular container?
No, I'm saying in the cup, this pencil looks bigger, right?
Does it
Without a
always
curved
look bigger?
container? No.
because of the curved surface of the cup and the different speed in which light travels.
Right, because it's
On
curved.
the-
That's right. And what's the shape of a raindrop?
Well, my fish tank doesn't.
Oh,
change
you
the
think
size of the
raindrops
fish.
accumulate a lensing effect?
That's just the hypothesis that the water.
No,
in
no,
the
no.
air...
That's easily demonstrably false. If you use
Oh, you have an
multiple-
experiment.
sorry.
You have an experiment.
Oh, yeah, I could do a very easy one.
Go on then. What? Is
If you have lots of water drops,
Mhm.
they don't accumulate a lensing effect. They're just going to bend light in all sorts of different directions. You're going to have a blur effect, not a lensing effect.
It depends on the temperature.
No, that's what lots of droplets will do.
Yeah, but
The
it
temperature,
depends on the temperature, because if you've got warmer temperature, it will expand the molecules and project.
They're back to a vapor. then.
it's still going to do the same thing because you have many spherical things bending light, and those are going to bend light in all sorts of directions.
Well,
Accumulating many sphere of water through a space, it's not going to form a lensing effect. It's just going to blur the image.
well, it actually in the atmosphere does create this lensing effect.
Yeah, but
And
because the
how do
water
we know
is
this?
in
It's because we have an experiment to back up that claim.
No. You have to understand the physical processes that you're trying to describe.
Okay.
Because you're using physical process that had nothing to do with what you're trying to describe, which is
Well,
the
actually,
water
what we
droplet.
What we should do is let him finish, because that's the next logical answer is I know what you're going to say. Okay, we got this present Fresnel lens. It causes this. Okay, great. That's correlative to what we see. Cool. Now the next question is, can the atmosphere do this?
Well, again, all we're doing is answering the question for those who are curious. Can this be replicated? This
Yes, it can be
observation.
replicated on a tiny little basketball, by moving the light source, or it can be replicated with a lens. Now we got to go and try and see which one of those two scenarios is possible.
Well, with your research, you find out there's no has anyone measured curvature? No. Does the water go around the exterior?
You're not curious. No. All you're doing is building a cocoon of bullshit around yourself so you don't have to accept reality.
I know it seems like that now, Lewis, but like I say, when you grow up, mature, it will seem a whole lot different. Okay?
Yeah, maybe once you're not retarded, you'll see things clearly.
I know it seems like that now, but like I say, you got a lot of growing to do, a lot of maturing. And
well, it is evident. I mean, that's the problem.
So look, what we've got here is an effect, a cause. We can agree with experiment. Same thing with things falling. Now, do things fall because of a force? Is there an acceleration?
No, I think we're still on this this lens, the horizon thing with the lens. Now, how do lenses work? I mean, we do know that, right?
Yeah, so they obviously bend the light, right?
They bend the light in specific ways, in a coherent way.
Yeah, but I mean, again, you can look at some of the scientists that talk about the atmosphere acting like a lens.
I put my camera in front of a steam kettle, and I don't see magnification with water droplets. I see obscuring.
Lens, though. So sorry, go on.
Lens. What?
I said when I look at the my steam coming out of my kettle, I see obscuring of the background, not magnification.
Yeah, but in this moment, there's nothing more to argue with because we have an experiment.
Now, the experiment now has to be carried out to the point of, is it reasonable, logical? I mean, you could go with reasonable or logical that it could actually occur in the environment, or you can test it. So show us now a screen of water, droplets making magnification.
Again,
Again?
All we're doing is replicating what we see in nature. That's it. If you're saying that's not the cause, then you're going to have to show an experiment that causes this phenomenon.
Well, you haven't done that yet. You haven't shown cause.
That's been done many times years ago.
No, you haven't shown cause. You showed that there's a coincidental experiment with glass.
You don't get science, do you?
Similar happened.
Richard Feynman, if it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong. We have an experiment that agrees with the hypothesis. There's nothing more to be said. I don't have to answer anymore. You have to show an experiment.
Your experiment doesn't show us anything. It shows us that glass can bend light, not atmosphere can bend light.
It shows you the effect in nature.
No. It doesn't show us that atmosphere bends light.
So we don't have to answer the question anymore about why does the sun not get smaller? Where does the sun go?
Yeah, I think that talking to you is pointless. This is weird.
When the sun, you guys think the sun is going down, we have an experiment to show the sun is not going down.
I was thinking the same thing, Moyak.
That's where we're at right now.
It's no experiment.
You guys getting your head around the fact that the sun
There
doesn't
is
set.
no experiment for this, hey?
I think Chemo is going to die with his beliefs.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
I don't think he's never going to change.
And even if we accepted your experiment, you didn't account for electromagnetism, charge of particles, if there's any cats in the lab. There's a lot of variables that you didn't take into account.
Is that your cause?
Well, you said a cat causes mass to attract mass, so I mean,
there was one thing that was different about his experiment. The Fresnel lens, as I recall, I measured the size of the image, and it does get smaller as it goes further away.
You can use a normal magnifying.
That immediately defies. All that did is show that the sun can move up and down, but the size of it changed, which is not.
You can use a normal magnifying glass. Doesn't matter.
Yes, but it changes the size, so hence magnification isn't the solution.
also it didn't show the sun above the observer, so it's not valid.
Look, we have experiments that agree with hypothesis. You do not. That's the difference between a flat earther with science and a globe earther without science.
Yeah, the camera's elevation. There's one glaring error was that there was no horizon in view. They actually used a artificial kind of horizon, where he chose the camera angle on a particular plane that would not be indicative of what we experience.
Can things disappear bottom first on a flat plane? Yes,
No.
they
They can
can.
easily do it on a curved surface.
Yes, they can. We
No.
can
No,
experiment.
they
No, they
can't.
cannot, Chemo.
No, they cannot.
We can replicate things
No, you
disappearing
cannot.
on a flat surface.
No,
Bottom
you don't
first.
have
You
it.
No,
cannot
they
do
cannot.
that.
What
Show
do you
me
mean
a
I
light
cannot?
Show me
The
a
angle
light
of-
source disappearing on a flat surface. Do that now.
The angle of the observation is way better than your cat example with the with Biodual.
Biocat.
Yeah, where's the light source in the Fresnel lens thing where
No,
it's
my
just a...
claim. Listen to the claim. Don't change the claim. I'm saying I can show you things disappearing bottom first on a flat surface.
a light source, though?
With a magnifying
How did
glass?
you-
Of course.
And how did you verify that surface was completely flat?
Yeah.
Because when you pour
Also, the
water
original
on it,
As
it
I
doesn't
recall, the
run off the
original experiment
sides.
was the original experiment that you described like 10 minutes ago was that the sun moves away without changing the angular size, which that experiment doesn't.
And it's funny that this all started with me asking him, give me one experiment that you agree with, and he's just...
I've given you
Stop.
one.
Oh, you haven't?
The lensing, the predicted cause of the lensing.
There's no lens in the atmosphere. You're assuming that the atmosphere acts like a lens.
Oh,
You
it
have
does,
no
yeah.
evidence.
It does.
You have no evidence of it. That's your
And now you
assumption.
got to take. You've shown an example.
So in this video here-
you're still actually in the research.
In this
phase. You've
video
actually
here,
found out
there
that
is
lenses-
a
You're
flat-
still in the You're still in the research stage where you actually found out that lenses can cause this. So now you're out into the real world and trying to experiment and find out whether the real world can do this. You haven't even started your experiment. You're still hypothesizing and researching.
Well, we've got the experiment, we've got the hypothesis, and they all agree.
Nope.
No,
And that's how you
we
do
don't
science.
all agree.
That's how you do science, guys, in the real world.
No, it's not. Because we don't all agree, Chemo.
You don't start with a hypothesis.
I did I observed the sunsets and sunrise, and I have a hypothesis. If I go to bed, the sun will set. And if I wake up, the sun will rise. And that happens.
What's your independent
Of course.
variable?
My sleep.
Okay. So you're
No,
saying if you
it's-
don't sleep, the sun won't rise.
No, if I don't sleep, the sun won't set.
If you don't sleep, the sun won't set, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Every time I go...
You agree with that, Kimo? You agree with that?
That's globe
Yeah.
science for you guys. That's globe
Oh,
science.
that's your science. That's your science.
Sleeping and setting such.
You should agree with him. That's exactly what you said.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
said the atmosphere is a lens
Yeah,
because I
but
assume so.
is he the
And I can
cause?
show it on.
Is he the cause of this phenomena?
Can you make this phenomena without the lensing?
Yeah.
Because that's
Doesn't
the,
the sun
that's
move?
the
Is
cause
that
of it,
part of
duh.
What
How
about
you
the
gonna do it
motion of
without
the
it
sun?
if that's the cause to it?
So you have a stationary sun which doesn't move, and it sets with the lens. Is that what you're saying?
Stationary sun. Who told you that?
There is no lens
Sure.
that makes the sun set. You can have this effect, but so
Yeah, the sun
there's
doesn't
what
actually
came out there.
set.
There's 7 billion fucking Fresnel lenses. For every person, everywhere, at every moment of
Not
every
a Fresnel
time.
lens. Just a normal magnifying. No, it's not. It's a normal magnifying glass to get your facts right.
Magnifying glass.
What?
One
What is
magnifying
it?
glass looks different to other people.
It's in my video here, the one I've just posted in the debate chat box.
You're
Yeah,
just
take
showing that
time.
you never held a magnifying glass in your hand because if you move the distance from your eye, you see different things.
Yeah, but in this experiment, things get smaller and disappear bottom first.
That's amazing. Tell me, in this experiment, if you take this magnifying thing, can you make things disappear bottom first?
What, with a magnifying glass?
Without it.
No, because that's the cause, silly.
I'm not asking. I'm asking if you take this lensing thing out, can you make things disappear bottom first on a flat plane?
No, silly. That's the cause.
So the answer is no.
How can you? It's the cause.
I'm asking you, when you
No, it's
take
the
this
cause.
lensing out of the equation of your experiment, can
I
you
just
make
said
things
no,
disappear
three
bottom
times.
first?
I was like, no, it's the cause.
I don't care what it is. I'm asking you, is it possible?
I just said no.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm not sure what you're trying to get at. He's saying that the lens is in the atmosphere.
No, the lens is its cause.
Right. So what happens when we have different conditions in the atmosphere?
You get different effects, dude.
But how come it doesn't affect anything? It doesn't affect planes. It doesn't affect mountains.
Oh, of
why
course
do you
it
say
does.
that? Why do you say that? Where
Affects
can we see that?
everything. Everything's affected.
How? How is everything affected if we don't
When
see
you're
any
looking
effect?
when you're looking through vast amounts of water,
So,
things can get distorted.
We don't live in
Water.
water.
You
show
talk
us,
about the atmosphere, right?
Sorry?
You
Kimo,
talked
show
about
us show us the magnifying glass in the atmosphere.
No, there's a lensing effect.
You
Well,
say
based on classic
magnifying.
understanding of how lenses work, doesn't make any sense.
What?
It doesn't make any sense since lenses focus light to a point. I'm not sure how you can have a uniform lens that magnifies in all directions equally.
Yeah, and how did you manipulate? How did you manipulate the
That would
lensing
take
effect?
that requires mathematics and probably too much for us to understand.
They didn't. They just placed the lens at a specific point and moved objects away.
As
And his
scientists, all we
video.
can do is
So
the
where
practical side.
Kimo, what was your independent variable in your video?
I've just been through it. Pure.
Where did you manipulate
You
your?
have not.
You haven't
Where did you
manipulated.
Literally just been
manipulate?
through it with Mole Man.
No, you
haven't
did not.
manipulated your lensing effect. When did you manipulate the lensing effect? Because you have to manipulate your independent variable to have an effect.
So you can
Dependent variable.
you can remove it and see if there's
Yeah.
a different effect. Add it, see if you get a different effect.
But they
Yeah, but
didn't, Kimo, so it wasn't science. They didn't touch the fucking lens. They only placed it in between the camera and the object that they were moving away. Oops.
Your verbs are consequent. If lens, then sunset. Sunset, therefore lens.
If no.
Yeah,
Yes.
you are.
Yes.
No, experiment.
Yes.
Yes, you absolutely are, and you didn't manipulate your independent variable. Nobody fucking removed or did anything in your video with the lens. So you fucked up twice.
Again, the experiment is remove a lens, different effect, add
No,
lens.
it's not. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
The other problem is you still have to take that lens and show the horizon inside of that lens. Because we see a horizon. For it to match the observation, you'd actually have to show the horizon, which we do not see.
No, nobody showed boats going over the horizon or not going over the horizon without the lens. The experiment was place the fucking lens right there, and I'm going to show you what I think is happening in reality. Nobody did anything with the lens other than place it in there. You fucked up, Kimo.
He doesn't care.
No, pure.
Yes,
Yep.
you did.
Not at all.
Yep.
Absolutely at all. You fucked up. Seriously.
It's time for some self-reflection, with lenses and mirrors.
Again,
And
you
the
need
scientific and the strict scientific method that you are supposed to abide to, but you didn't. You didn't manipulate the independent variable.
Yes, you'd remove the lens.
No,
have a
they
diff-
did not.
They did
They
not.
didn't, Kimo.
Yeah, that's been done.
No, it
Sure.
has not been done.
So this is what self-delusion looks like, Kimo, because it was not done,
Think
and
so.
you saw it in the videos, right?
You think we're all crazy, the flat earthers?
I don't think you're crazy. I think you uneducated, and you are
I think-
afraid.
no,
and you are
no,
afraid
he-
of the answers. You're afraid of
Chemo's
it.
educated.
You're
He's just a
educated.
fucking narcissist. You're just a narcissistic fucking
You're
liar
educated,
with
and the
no
rest of
shame.
us are not like the flat earthers are not educated. Yes.
So, do you
Ki-
agree
Kimo,
that they didn't change the independent variable?
What in that experiment?
Yes, in your video that you say demonstrates that it follows the scientific method, which it doesn't.
And you have to manipulate it in nature in order for it.
That
to be
one's
valid.
edited and stuff, right? If you look at the Rob Skiba one.
Oh,
Oh, so now it's an editing issue?
Yeah, I was just
How-
making a video of fantasy and whatnot.
no, you directly went to your fucking video and posted it as evidence of the atmosphere acting like a lens, but and that follows the scientific method, Chemo. That's your whole
You
fucking
didn't see
spiel.
the one where he
That's your
put the
whole
boat on the
shtick.
table and he moved the magnifying glass and then put it back. Moved
He
it.
did not move the magnifying glass. He moved the motherfucking boat that was behind it. The magnifying glass was not manipulated. It was put in place.
Yeah, but when there was no magnifying
No,
glass.
not yeah, but there was nothing before. There was nothing done before the magnifying glass.
Yeah, there was no effect before the
Claus.
magnifying glass.
Claus
There was
is
no observation. He placed the magnifying glass and began the observation, the test. Didn't manipulate the independent variable. Oops.
What you're saying
You
without
fucked
the
up.
magnifying glass, the
You're
same effect
assuming
will occur.
that the atmosphere is a magnifying glass. You have no evidence of this.
Yes, we've got the
All the
experiments I posted.
No, you do. No, you do not. Again,
You
you called it an experiment, and you're affirming the consequence, Chemo.
No, when
You're not following your scientific method to the letter that you claim must be done, and you've affirmed the consequence, which is a logical fallacy, sir.
So you're saying that if I move the boat along the table without the magnifying glass, it would disappear bottom first.
Wow.
I'm not
No,
saying
he didn't
I'm not
say
saying
anything like that.
I didn't say anything like that. I said you did not. Your video, the person that you're claiming follows the scientific method to demonstrate this did not follow the scientific method, Chemo. They did not manipulate the independent variable, which is a must in your world.
Which was done.
No, it was not done.
When did they manipulate the independent variable?
They-
How did they manipulate?
So without the magnifying glass, things are not disappearing bottom first.
Yeah, without the magnifying glass,
Mm.
things get smaller with distance, like we see in nature.
Well, that depends on the lens.
What?
That depends on the lens.
So the atmosphere is a different kind of lens depending on.
Well,
But we
yeah,
do
you got
see
different
we
temperatures.
see boats disappearing in
different
nature over the
temperatures.
horizon without a lens, Chemo.
We've got
This is
different
like-
temperatures, Marman, so yeah, different kinds of lenses.
It's like you saying that the sun will rise if the fucking rooster
In nature.
says cuckoo.
What?
If that happens, you're affirming the consequence.
What are you on about? I'm saying different temperatures give us different lensing effects, right?
You are saying that if the Earth is flat and if the atmosphere acts like a magnifying glass, then sunset. Sunset, therefore the Earth flat and the atmosphere is a magnifying glass.
Because of experiment, yes.
No, you didn't do it.
We see sunsets at all temperatures. Every single temperature that's ever been experienced on Earth, we see sunsets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
and
what-
with that experiment, we
temperature-
would still think it's going behind a board.
But you said temperature can affect this. So what temperature does it have to be for the sun not to set?
I don't have the numbers in that regard.
Do you have any examples of the sun not setting?
Of what?
The sun not setting.
I didn't say that the sun doesn't set. What are you on about?
Did they manipulate the lens in the experiment for you to say that the temperature changes the lens? Or did they just have one lens in the experiment for the independent variable?
Well, there was different lenses, but not by the same person.
Did they change the temperature of the room?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So how do you know
So-
the temperature makes any changes to the lensing?
Because we have different effects when we look outside.
How
That's a
do you
perfect
know it's a temperature?
Because that's what we can detect.
How do you know it's temperature if you didn't test that?
Because
If you didn't have an experiment to show you that it's the temperature,
that's
how
the-
do you know it's temperature?
How do you know it's not or pressure or electromagnetics? Did you test those?
That's not a cause that I would have put forward.
Yeah. So you don't know all the variables.
Well, if you're just going to make things up.
You
Oh,
absolutely making
I'm
things up.
making things up.
Hold
Okay,
on.
let's go.
You don't just make things up.
Yeah, let's go with Biodose Cavendish. Mass attracts mass.
Yeah, but nobody
If
saw, nobody witnessed
attraction.
that.
Attraction, therefore, mass attracts mass.
That would have been nice if we saw that, yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
We do see it. We seen it in
What, he
blues
moved the
for
camera
like
for
a
you?
month.
So where is the sun? Where's the sun in your experiment?
Sun's in
Or
the
is it just
sky.
a paper with a drawing on it?
Well, again, a more detailed
drawing.
analyst is on Rob Skiba.
Sure. So he has a sun, a miniature sun. How does he know what the sun
Not a
is?
miniature sun, no, don't be silly.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't have the effect in the lab because he doesn't know what the sun is.
Nobody knows what the sun.
Okay, so you have no cause for the sunset.
Causes the atmospheric lensing.
You don't know what the atmosphere is. You don't know what the sun is.
It acts like a lenser, that's what we do know.
And you know that by how?
By an
Assuming?
by assuming the
No, that's not evident.
by assuming the cause, predicting the cause,
You're affirming
and
the
experimenting
consequence,
the cause.
affirming the consequence, and not manipulating what you say the atmosphere acts like a lens. So you didn't manipulate the dependent variable. Came out. Oops. Fuck. You fucked up, son.
Make no
And
sense.
then
You
you're
didn't
saying
follow-
it's temperature, and you didn't check the temperature in your experiment
No.
either.
Didn't check the pressure. Yeah, like you're just fucking up all over the place.
Look, I get it's hard, Pure. Okay, you want to
It-
defend this?
It's only
It's
hard
hard-
for you, man. It's only hard for you.
It's easy to dismantle your shit with you say must be followed. This specific experiment, this rigid fucking experimental fucking platform must be followed. This method must be followed. Yet none of you motherfuckers actually follow it.
Well, we do actually. If there's an observed
No,
phenomenon, in
no,
the-
you don't. We just dismantled your whole fucking video,
Well, not quite.
showing you how you did not. The person that you're saying did this, didn't follow the scientific method. They didn't. We destroyed your video right here, right now.
Well, not quite, like I say, because
Oh no, quite. It's fucked up. It's tore up from the floor up, son.
like I
It's
said,
kind of funny to see you trying to go around it.
this is just
You understand that this experiment is bullshit.
these
We
are
just showed you that, and you're trying to say, "Oh, I don't know what you're trying to say," because I don't think you know what you're trying to say.
well,
You
I'm
need to
trying
understand
say
that this thing is not an experiment, and definitely not a scientific one.
Well, what I'm getting at is that these are just experiments that were repeated from other previous experiments. See if the results.
Did they change the lensing and temperature?
See if the results are the same.
Did they change the lensing and the temperature?
I'm not sure.
No,
Thank you.
no, they didn't. Like, you don't even know your own video,
No, I
Chemo.
don't know if they control the
You
temperature.
you
or not.
don't.
I don't know.
You not, I don't know. You don't know your own video that you provided as evidence of the atmosphere acting like a lens, and when testing that, the dependent variable, meaning the atmosphere acting like a lens, they didn't fucking manipulate it whatsoever. They didn't
So
check
is
the
he talking
temperature.
about my video or Rob Skeeber's video?
Your video.
Oh, my video, yeah, there's none of that, no. In Rob Skeeber's one, I don't know. We're on about Rob Skeeber's one.
Why don't you ask him?
No, no one took any temperature measurement in my video.
So please don't bring that video ever again.
Well, what this
Okay?
video does is...
Thank you.
What this video does is explains...
That video is bullshit.
It explains...
Just like your arguments.
But what it does...
Dude, stop moving on to Rob Skiba when we're talking about your video that you provided as evidence. Now, if you want to talk about Rob Skiba's video, then bring Rob Skiba's fucking video, and then we'll go through and dismantle that too. But don't bring your video as evidence and then talk about someone else's video and the attempt to try.
I think you're breaking up.
You broke up a bit, Anarchy.
Sorry about that. I'm driving across there. Can you hear me now? Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Chemo, what you did is you provided your video as evidence, and you're attempting to try and confuse everyone by talking about Rob Skiba's. If you want to talk about Rob Skiba's video, bring Rob Skiba's video, and we will review it. Don't be a disingenuous cunt. Correct.
Well, what this video does is explain the scientific
No,
method.
no, it doesn't explain anything because it's not following the scientific method.
Dude, you've got to let him respond. He got 3 words out, you cut him off, and you're doing this every time he speaks. Just to say no, no, no. You've got to let him respond. Go ahead.
So
Kimo.
what we're doing, I mean, as scientists, we're only looking at cause and effect. So again, we have an observed phenomena in nature. We predict the cause. We hit the lab. Say, can we replicate this? Turns out we can replicate a lot of these features that we see in nature. Over to you. Oh, over to you. Or you didn't hear me. You hear me?
I wonder where is this lensing? Do we have a huge magnifying glass? Or are you saying it's the water in the atmosphere?
No. So where the sky meets the ground, there's that area there is where it appears to give you a dense layer of atmosphere. So that's what gives you the illusion of things disappearing beyond it and magnifying and things like that.
Weird thing, Chemo. I just took a lens, and when you put the horizon in view, things don't disappear.
But again, it just depends on
When you tip the lens up and you put it above the horizon, then things disappear. It's just like as if you tip the table. So it seems like your test is inherently flawed. We'd have to see the actual position of the lens to decide whether it was actually indicative of anything.
I think you're just missing the point here. All we're doing, I mean, I don't know how many times we have to stress this. We see something in nature. I don't know what you're knowing at here. All we're doing is replicating the phenomena that we see in nature. That's it.
Yeah, but you're replicating it by putting unrealistic conditions.
No.
It's like going to a fun house and saying, I can make my head look stretched, therefore my head is stretched.
No, that's not what it is. The atmosphere, because we know there's no curvature, there's another reason, another cause to this effect. Right? So that's how we would
Presupposing the
do
atmosphere
science
operates
in
like
this
a magnifying
case.
glass,
After the
though.
research. What?
You're presupposing the atmosphere operates like a magnifying glass, though.
Yeah, and then you would experiment with it. And then that's it. You've got your
where is that
results.
magnifying glass in our atmosphere?
What?
What?
Where is that magnifying glass in our atmosphere?
Right, so like I'm just trying to explain. At the horizon, where the sky appears to meet the ground, it's not really happening. It's like a train track. Now, as that area gets more and more converged, it creates like I don't want to say like a funnel, and then it kind of, depending on the temperature and the weather and all that, it will magnify things down that hall, that tunnel hall that you're looking down, giving you the illusion that things are in different positions.
The funny thing is at the horizon, I could take the same train track and I could run it all the way to the horizon at 3 miles, and I'll still be able to separate it with zoom.
No, you won't. No.
Yes.
Yep.
You
never did a zoom. You never held a camera and zoomed in.
Yeah, but you can't see all the way at like 100 miles down a train track, right?
Oh, no, but at the horizon where it disappears, it's still got separation.
You do realize that on a flat Earth, you should be able to see it 1,000 miles, right? Chemo, that's your whole thing. The Earth is flat. Therefore, you can see till the vanishing point, right?
Oh, no way, no chance.
No? So vanishing point has nothing in the flat Earth? No vanishing point?
Right, like I said. So
It's wherever you want it to be.
As you look towards the horizon, that area becomes more compact, more dense. However you want to describe it.
And I can unpack it with a lens.
No, you can't.
Yep.
Can't resolve beyond the horizon unless that you have certain effects that will allow.
There's a reason for that, but it's not what you're saying, because I can resolve at that distance. Like I can put something, let's say 50 miles away, and I can still see it with my camera.
No.
But as long as it's off the ground, I can resolve it.
No, that's your vanishing point, is the horizon.
No.
There's no vanishing point at the horizon. I can see shit up past the horizon.
Again, that depends.
Kimo, remember yesterday I told you are confusing, either on purpose or not, a horizon with vanishing point. They are not the same.
They kind of are.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Well,
Chemo, we can see, like in Louisiana, like with Soundly shit, we can see at 28 miles from 6 foot above the water, we can see the tops of the buildings that'll be on the horizon. So no, it's not a vanishing point. They're not the same thing.
You don't know if you're looking at the actual object. That's the problem.
What else would you look at? Lego?
No, like a mirage.
So mirage is not looking at the object?
Yeah, it's just a mirage. It's not real, right?
Oh, you're looking at the object. I know what it is. Therefore, I'm seeing it.
No, I can, because I do know it's the object, because I can point out the hotel, and then I can drive across the fucking bridge and go right to that fucking hotel.
Yeah, but not over
or that building.
Yes, over curvature.
So I know it. I know it's that building because I can go to that building.
It's got the same symmetry. It's got the same window.
Yeah, but not in the location you think it's. Yeah.
Yes, at the location. I can go to
it's
the 13th floor or the 7th floor of that building. I can go to that building.
It appears to be the mixture of the two. Perspective.
No, it's not. It's not a mixture of the two. You said you don't know if it's the building, but I can drive across the bridge and go to those sets of buildings.
So all it means, and we can just see past the perspective point when we look straight down at the horizon.
Past perspective, I thought it was the vanishing point.
The vanishing point. Sorry, that's what I mean. So at the vanishing point,
perspective, the vanishing point, but I can see buildings that are
we can
past
see
the
beyond the perspective point at this moment.
Which one is it? The perspective point or vanishing point?
Yeah, the vanishing point.
But why do you keep calling it a perspective point?
I mean,
you say can't see objects beyond that, but I can show you objects beyond that, and I know it's that
we can
object
see beyond
because
that
I can
point.
go to that object.
We can see beyond the vanishing point.
Really? So why is it called vanishing point?
Because it was supposed to be a point where all things
supposed
converge.
to be a point, so it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's not a real. I mean, again, it's like I said, it's a mixture of
nope.
You know, looking at the horizon that is not physical. It's not a physical point. This vanishing point. So it could extend.
What?
It could be closer. It just depends on the atmosphere.
What?
Yeah, it's a peculiar thing that's happening here when we look out at the horizon. I get it.
Yeah, it's called a mixture of you don't understand what perspective.
Well, we know it's not of
vanishing
curvature.
point and what horizon is.
It's just a mixture. It's a mixture of him pulling shit out of his ass and just throwing it at the wall.
The main thing is that we know it's
you're
not.
You're just
of,
being right now.
Came out. It's not of curvature, right?
You're shitting in your hand and throwing it at the wall.
Can anyone explain what the vanishing point is? Because I never heard it before.
So the vanishing point is a point depending on the angular size of an object, the original angular size, at which you can't resolve detail anymore.
And it's optic system.
Oh, it's about resolution?
And it's right in front of that's basically what it is, angular resolution. It's that point at which you don't resolve the detail anymore.
Well, there's also the diffraction limit as well, right?
Nope.
Where two things merge into one and appear to be a single light.
No.
But are they? Are they, or they just appear to be?
That's what I'm trying to say. The horizon looks like it's merging with the sky and the ground, right?
But does it?
No, of course not.
So what? So it's
Just
not actually touching. They're not actually coming together, right? They're
So
not doing
exactly. It's just a diffraction limit.
Nope. We know
Way
the
to
diffraction
go.
limit. In 3 miles,
now.
the diffraction limit hasn't been hit.
Look, you don't understand how the sky works. Just
The first
accept
liner is a
it.
perfect example.
But the sky is a lens, so objects should not reach a vanishing point because the sun stays at the same size.
Yeah, I fail to visualize how something could reach a vanishing point, because if by getting far I use a bigger object, I'll ever be able to see it, right?
Look,
Because
dude,
it's from a distance.
I can't help you really with all this stuff. You know, this is not how I can hear that you want the answers. Got to figure it out for yourself. You know it's not curving, so what's going on? You got to ask yourself.
We live on a globe, so you can't explain.
Why do
anything.
things disappear for the human eye, and even under 1,000 times zoom, they still remain disappeared? Wouldn't these effects like slowly accumulate over distance?
Look, this is all model building, so you got to build it yourself. I'm not going to build a model.
Jeez.
No, logic.
Yeah, because once
This is
you
a
do, we
logic
can
thing.
evaluate it, right?
Yeah, we don't have a model. This is all reification. This is not concrete.
You sure the fuck will build it.
There's no way we can test it.
But you will sure build a straw man. You won't build a model, but you'll build a straw man, all
Yeah,
right.
but we can't test it, so I'm trying to work with you on how it may or may not work, but we can't hold any of this to be true because we can't test it.
Yeah, because you can't have it
What
on
we
a flat
can
surface.
do is measure curvature, which nobody has. So therefore, there's no curvature on the Earth.
What do you mean? Has anyone measured the voltage of a lightning directly?
Who knows?
Why is he changing? Why are you changing?
It has been measured, just FYI.
Is that
It
Mark?
has been measured.
Mark, step in because these guys... is that Mark? Mark, come back.
So if
No, I'm
something-
listening. I'm just saying, why is he changing the subject to lightning?
pointing out that if something hasn't been measured, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
Well, in order for it to exist, you need to live on a sphere. So if you can't measure it, you don't live on a sphere. You could
Okay.
live on a rectangle. You could live on a triangle. You could make anything up.
So before we could measure temperature,
And you're going to need an R
didn't
radius as
exist.
well. You're
Why
going
is
to need an
everyone
R radius.
breaking up? Am I
That's a
breaking
non
up?
That
sequitur.
is a massive.
Am I
logic
breaking up
failure.
as well, or am I crystal super clear?
You're good. But
I'm
Mark,
good,
you're
yeah,
saying
okay.
that before we could measure temperature, heat didn't exist because no one could have measured it.
Oh, he's going to play games with you, Mark. Mole man,
Heat,
just talk
heat
normally.
didn't exist. What are you talking about, fella?
You said that if no
That's
one's
your-
measured curvature, then the Earth isn't curved.
Mm.
But if no one hasn't measured temperature, then temperature didn't exist. That's
Who
your
hasn't,
logic.
who hasn't measured what?
Before we had thermometers, no one measured temperatures.
I'm sure they did.
Without thermometers, how?
Yeah, let's keep on the shape of the Earth, fella. Let's stick
I
to where we
know,
are.
this is
An
how every
analogy.
single
No.
time.
Let's not move to rubbish. Let's move to, can you measure the shape of the Earth? And do you
It
have
has
a
been done.
curve? Do you have a radius?
It has been done.
Is it physical?
Yes, it's
And
physical.
And you have a radius, yes?
Sure.
To the core, yeah?
Yep.
And you have a molten iron core that you can verify.
Seismology exists.
You can verify that.
Yes.
Someone says no, someone says yes. What is it?
Well, it depends. It depends on what you mean by verify.
I think you know what I mean.
Well,
And the answer is no.
We have good evidence that it exists, but has anybody
We have
sat
good
down there and
evidence.
stared at it? No.
You guys have lots of good evidence. No, it's
Does-
not good
I
enough.
mean, that's all everything that we know about the world is, right? We have evidence for things, but we don't know them 100% certainty. We don't know anything.
Well, at least you're honest.
Yeah.
What about those
Well,
pictures
yeah,
then? Are those
these are
pictures-
questions that philosophers have talked about for centuries, right? There's no solution for solipsism.
Yeah, but why aren't those pictures? Why aren't the pictures 100%? That's it. Why aren't they 100% the pictures?
Because basically everything can be faked at the end of the day.
No, the question, Kiro, is probably answered. Why can't they? Well, why do they present them as 100% when they're not?
I mean, a better question would be why.
Nobody ever
Jake
presents
is doubting
them as
the pictures. Anyone who says we're not sure,
Nobody, Mo.
they're doubting
Hold on, I'm
NASA.
responding to what he said. Nobody ever presents anything as 100% certainty because
Yes, we do.
there
Yes, we
is
do.
no-
We say to
You-
children,
you do.
we say to
You
children
do.
that you live on a sphere. 100%, you live on a sphere. That's what we say.
They didn't tell me that in
Yep.
school. Say 100%.
No, nobody
And
ever
that's
said no.
They
teacher,
tell the
no
children,
fucking
NASA, they tell the
scientist
children,
ever-
100% we are in space. 100%, that's what they
Nobody
say.
ever presents. No teacher, no scientist ever says this is 100% true.
So when they're
Yes, they
live
do.
streaming
Yes, they
from the
do.
ISS in space, that's 100%. The kids are watching that saying they are 100% in space looking at the board.
Yeah, nobody says this, man. This is not even the way people normally speak. I don't know why you're saying people say that.
But
Don't go to
the
study.
only thing
They don't say. They don't. All right.
Percentages about
Right.
certainties.
They don't actually say percentages, but they really convince the child
Oh.
that we're in space. The Earth is a sphere, and that is it. There's no
Because
discussion.
there is
No,
because there is a body of information
A
that is
body.
concordant with or
Body of what?
indicative of what there is a body of information that's called evidence that is indicative of or concordant with one position above any
He loves
other.
that phrase.
They leave a margin of error that guess what? We may fucking live in a simulation. This could all be fucking fake, or new information can be provided that goes against that body of information. That's what science does. They don't make declarative statements ever.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is we present that to children as fact, 100%.
It is fact.
No,
Fact doesn't
they don't.
have
It is a fact, but it's not
fact.
100%.
Facts don't have to be 100%. It's as factual as, for example, basketball is wrong. Those are as factual as each other, but none of them are 100% because to be 100%, you have to basically solve solipsism.
Yeah, and you can never do
Alright,
that.
so we're not sure. This is good now then, Mark, because they're not
Wrong.
sure if the Earth is curving or not.
Well,
That's
Kim,
not what
you
anybody
said,
says.
So
said that if the
Bacon.
there has to
Let
be
me
a-
ask Bacon. Do we
What?
know if the Earth is curving or not, or are we not sure yet?
Well, if you're 100%, then no, because
Right
that
now,
wouldn't
in
apply to anything.
2021, we're not sure if the Earth curves like a ball.
If you
We are sure, but not 100%.
if you
Not
80%
100%
believe
Bacon.
something
Good man,
is
that's what we're
true,
talking
then
about.
you're sure.
That's what
Let
we're
alone
talking
a
about. We're not sure.
99%.
Has anyone? So we're not 100% sure someone's measured the curvature. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're 80%
Oh,
sure,
it-
somebody, you can say
you-
you're sure of it.
Now
You're
so we're
equating-
80% sure.
You're
This is
equating.
If
You're
you say you're 80% sure,
good. This is
that
great. This
So,
is.
hold on. There's
Never.
this
No one
line
said
of
80%
argumentation is
sure.
ridiculous. This
You
line
can't
of
add a-
argument.
No,
Hold on.
I'm
Percent.
telling you that when you're 99.99% sure of something, you can say you're sure of it. When you're 80% sure of something, you can say you're sure of it.
Then,
These are all well above the confidence levels to be sure.
Really?
All right. So Bacon.
Yeah, so hold on.
Right now.
This line of argumentation is kind of pointless.
Bacon. Right now.
Because what we can measure,
All
what
right.
we have for tools and methods for measuring the Earth, produce a result that is spherical.
All right. So look, Bacon. Right now, I am 0% sure we're on a globe. Can we increase how can we increase that percent to 10, 20, 50, whatever? What do you have to increase the probability that we're on a globe?
You're 0% sure.
You could start by going to high school and understanding Newtonian
Okay, you go high
mechanics,
school
refraction, and all those concepts.
Yeah. All right. You go high school, you go college, university. Does that give you like a 10%, 20%?
No, once you understand, once you understand the science behind, and you know about every experiment ever done.
Yeah.
What does
that give you? Like 40%? Would you say? Yeah.
Of course not. It's way over.
50%.
Yeah, I could claim a 40%, like
40%. I would say around. You go
before
to school,
Christ.
you go college, you go uni. You're around 40% sure probability that you're on a globe. All right.
That's not 40%. No one's claiming 40%.
What? 50%? What are you saying? Like, give me a number. Give me a percent.
I could give a 50% at like
50%
400
sure.
BC.
So you're right. Today's world, 2021. Student goes to college.
Exactly. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense to claim a 40%.
What I'm saying, what do you think?
No,
What do you think?
it's something very close to 100%, as close as you can get.
So he goes to uni, goes college, school, leaves school, college, uni. He's 100% close that the Earth is a globe.
Well, there are kids 4 years old also 100% sure that the Earth is a globe, because most and all proofs and all experiments indicate and point to a spherical Earth.
Yeah,
but kids believe in Santa Claus 100% as well.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
We as parents, we tell our children one thing, and guess what? They're going to believe everything.
Yeah, one
we
thing
say.
is-
You know why?
Yeah.
Because we are in charge. That's why.
Right.
So
Yeah, one thing is being sure.
Wait.
Can you measure Santa Claus, Mark?
Do you correct the children, let's say when they get to 8 years old or 9 years old, do you correct them, or do they understand by themselves that Santa doesn't exist?
For me, I tell them Santa Claus is not real. That's what I say.
But
that's my mindset.
But
The
is
tooth fairy is not real.
good for
That's
you.
my
But is
mindset.
Santa Claus something that you can measure, like we can measure the Earth?
Well,
You
who's
can't
measured the
tell
Earth?
it-
That's
tell
what we're asking. Who's measured
Yeah,
the
tell
Earth?
us.
Why
Do you tell them-
Santa
do you tell them
Claus
that God
eventually goes
So
away and the
Doofus, how
spherical
confident
Earth
are you
stays?
that someone's measured the Earth? 10%, 100%? And can you provide somebody doing the actual measurement?
I can provide all the data that you want, but for some reason you
No,
don't
not
like data.
I want data. I want somebody actually measuring the Earth.
Yeah, that's your problem. Not
Yeah,
mine.
there's a few people who did that from MC Toon, and he did it with a few other people around the Earth.
Okay, how do you
And
do
they
it?
all did
What
the
was
measurement.
what was the method?
What was the what?
The method.
Method.
Oh, method. The method was sticks in the ground and measuring the
But those
angle
sticks in
to the
ground-
shadow.
Let me stop you there. Those sticks in the ground rely on parallel lines, yes? On the
Yes,
sun.
and
Now,
almost
that's
parallel.
assuming
Almost
the sun is
parallel.
far away. Who measured the sun?
Well, it's
I
called
measured-
trigonometry, and I
But
don't know if you know what it
they-
means.
They
Sorry?
were
Who measured the sun?
I measured the
It's-
sun to be at a distance greater than 20 miles with 20 million miles. It has to be further than that, given the accuracy of the equipment that I had at the time. So
Well,
it
who's
has
gonna-
to be farther
All right,
than
let's
20.
have a look then. Let's
And
evaluate
it has to be farther than 20 million
Not
miles
doubting
away.
it. No one's doubting you. Let's work with you. Let's look at it, analyze it. Let's go.
I don't have it here.
What don't you have?
The experimentation that I used.
Yeah, so how are we going to know how far the sun is?
Actually, it's a really weird question. You say you don't know anything about the sun. You say no one knows anything about
Well,
it.
we're learning,
Yet
aren't
you claim stuff about the sun.
We're learning.
How is
we're
it?
learning. No assumption. So sticks in the ground assume the sun are giving us
No,
them parallel
no.
rays.
A stick in the ground does not assume it. You're doing trigonometry with shadows and distances and length.
Do you need an R?
You
Okay,
measure it.
He's
You need an
right.
R.
Yeah,
You need an R.
we are assuming a far sun.
Right,
when you're
exactly.
doing that.
So you
Yeah, but
can't
that's
use
not
that.
how we. That's not. One sec. That was when I don't know how to pronounce the name in English. But when he made it,
Aristotle.
no, that's another
Or
one.
Aristophanes.
Eratosthenes. Yeah.
Eratosthenes.
Right. When Eratosthenes did the experiment, they were already confident that the Earth was round. They didn't know how round it was. They didn't know the radius or the circumference. He just measured it, and they were already confident. That's not how they demonstrated it was round.
Mm-hmm.
They were confident way before that, because of cartography and.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but no
well,
one's
the results,
measured.
but the results of those sticks is also showing that the hypothesis that the sun is far is correct.
No, it's not. You would have 3 sticks to do that, not 2. With 2 sticks,
Say that again. Say that again.
You need 3 at least. You need 3 sticks to do that, not 2. Because if you have
I didn't
2
say
sticks,
2. I said MC Toon did it with multiple people around the Earth.
Oh,
and
multiple.
he did that.
Or, I
multiple,
thought you were talking
multiple,
about the.
and he did it
Okay,
in
okay.
the summer solstice and in the winter solstice, and it's all in his website. They did it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking about
multiple people around the Earth. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, because that's why you never have a height of the sun on the flat Earth model, because they can never agree. They can only agree 2 at a time. If you pick 3 shadow distances, they no longer point to a fixed position on the sky.
Right.
They contradict each other. So, but if you assume a sphere with the exact circumference that Aristophanes calculated, they all point to the same direction, in a somewhat parallel direction.
Again, this is
As
this
far
is
as
all
the
based
light
on,
rays being parallel or not parallel, you can actually verify that with equipment. Like, the angular size of the sun is about half a degree. And if you use equipment here on Earth, you can define how spread out those beams are. And they are mostly parallel.
No. We know the sun is small and local. And,
No, you don't. Well,
You said you know nothing about the sun.
Yep.
No, but we know that it's close and local. That's
How do you know that?
There's
You
no
said you know
harm.
nothing about
you
the
don't
sun.
know
How do
that.
you know that?
because of the triangulations that have been carried out on it.
The one I just mentioned, if you use more than 2 of them, they don't match.
No, but if what you're doing is presupposing here.
No,
No, they're not.
Actually,
They're
the
not.
calculation presupposes a flat Earth and a close sun, and they don't match. If you pick 2 at a time, you have a distance. If you pick other 2, you have a different distance. If you pick 3, they simply don't match up. They don't form a pattern.
And I believe it was 2019. Slice Arcane got 23 people.
Yep.
I believe, all around the world, and other than the 2 or 3 outliers of those that didn't, they either screwed up or did something with their measurements. When you pull all those points together, it goes to one location outside of 90 million miles.
Look, there are too many assumptions for this to be classed as
There's not too many assumptions.
Yeah, this cannot
Those
be
are
classed
those
as,
are anger. Those are angles based on putting sticks in the ground or a nail or something of that, and measuring those angles to the sun. There's no assumption there.
Yeah, you're assuming that
I'd say that is actually because
plenty of assumptions that the sun rays are parallel. Okay,
no, that's not the assumption.
You have a distance.
That's not the assumption.
Yeah, that's not the. I would say the assumption. I mean, we are assuming their coordinates in order to, because if they're in different positions of the globe, they must have different angles, right? And that depends on the geometry of the globe. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they all.
No, I'm not
point
arguing
to
that this is hasn't been mathematically calculated.
let me just finish the point. But once you try to spread the same people on the same coordinates, but on a 2D map, then all those lines just point into random directions. So that's the thing. When you put them on a globe with the known radius, all of them points to the direction of a far sun, and they agree with each other.
Again,
I mean, not all of them. There's two outliers, right?
It's clear that there's a mathematical model that explains it in this way, but the problem is, in reality, when you try to measure physical curvature, you'll find that there's no geometric positions that you can go on the Earth and have any obstruction, physical Earth, between you and the observer. You see?
Well, that's not true because Soundly, Geist View, Slice Borkane, Larry, Jesse Kozlowski, MC Toon, all of those people have gone out and measured the curvature of the Earth, and they've shown you the evidence.
Part of those
the body of
geometric
information.
Yeah, and part of those angles was how I used to do my job, pointing one satellite dish at another fucking tower, 50 kilometers away, making sure it was pointing in the right angle so it would then bounce the signal around the curve of the Earth. That's how that worked.
Okay, so I mean, again, look, Bacon, we have to understand that no one has actually physically, no engineers, no surveyors, no geodetic.
Yes, they have. Larry showed you. Larry has showed you repeatedly.
Yeah,
direct
he also
measurements.
made he included gravity, which was based on an assumption.
No assumption. It's measurable.
Yeah, I mean, we are not assuming that things accelerate at 9.8 meters per second square downwards. They just do.
Again, there's no
we call
acceleration
gravity.
because the bending of space-time is the cause of.
Doesn't
any
matter what's the
effect.
cause. They accelerate either way.
No, there's an apparent acceleration from a pseudo force.
It doesn't matter. The outcome is the same.
Well, it doesn't matter, yeah, but it's not a force. It's not an acceleration. It just appears.
Doesn't matter. It is an acceleration.
It's one of the four.
It's not a force, but it is.
It's one of the four fundamental forces.
No, it's not a fundamental force.
Yeah.
Oh no, it is. You look up the four fundamental forces of nature, and gravity is one of them.
Yeah, that's the old.
There's no.
Gravity is not a
that's
force.
2021. That's
Oh,
in
come on,
2021. Scott has showed the citation.
Gravity is not a force, fella.
It is.
No, it's not. You can think
Gravity
of it
is the
as a
bending
force,
of.
but it's not a force.
No,
Gravity is the bending of space-time.
It's one of the four fundamental forces.
Look, you have no idea about physics, Pure. Stop piping up in this subject.
And you do?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Gravity's not a force. It's the bending of space-time.
One sec. The way that relativity deals with gravity and the way Newtonian physics deal with gravity is fundamentally different, but the outcome is pretty
Try
much the
telling
same.
these old age globers who have no idea about the current science.
Oh, it doesn't
They're
matter.
like dinosaurs
if
when
you-
it comes to the current science.
Been outdated.
No, it doesn't, because they predict the exact same outcome at our
No,
scale.
don't.
So
Doesn't matter if the outcome's the same. The effect and the cause are different. The cause is space
yeah,
time.
but the divergence is negligent to the things that we are
Still no
talking about.
force.
It doesn't matter because their outcome
Well,
is
it does matter because a lot of these guys here think there is a force.
Chemo.
Could be.
No, we know it is.
Relativity isn't supposed to be the fundamental truth. It's just
So-
another description. It
Just
might be wrong
another-
as well.
Chemo. You've been corrected on this several times now. Both descriptions of gravity, Newtonian and
They're different.
Einsteinian.
They're different. They're
Both-
different.
Oh my goodness.
One's bending.
Hold
one's
on. You're not
math.
even going to let me
Math.
say it, are you?
Yeah, 'cause
You're
what
too
you're
scared.
saying-
You're too scared to let me say it, aren't you?
I'm scared. Not really.
Both
You
descriptions.
sound very
of-
short. Not really.
both descriptions of gravity both Newtonian and Einsteinian, describe masses accelerating towards other mass. When those masses contact, they exert a force. That force is weight in both versions. It doesn't matter how you choose to describe gravity, weight is a force always.
No, there's no energy, there's no strength, okay, there's no work happening. What happens is the mass stretches the fabric of space-time, causing objects to move. That's what causes the move. It's not the mass that's causing the object to move, it's the mass bending the space-time, causing the object to move. Now, if it didn't bend the space-time, the object wouldn't move, wouldn't have no effect, because mass does not attract mass. It's not a force, as we understand the current science. It's this fabric of space-time being warped and bent.
Did anything that you just said address anything that I said?
Yeah, because
you don't know what you're talking about. That's why.
Yeah, mass doesn't
No,
attract
no.
mass.
Because as I have explained already, and I will do again, both descriptions of gravity, weight is a force. You cannot get away from that. That is what it is.
Yeah, there's no experiment demonstration to prove that, and Newton doesn't explain, the celestial problems that they have out there, Mars, Moon, Venus, whatever it is that they've got out there. Einstein
Mercury
explains that there's no force required, not necessary.
He literally calculates weight as a force.
Not if it's calculated, you can treat it as a force. You can think of it as a force if you want to. If
it is a force.
If Einstein
is too difficult, force, which means it's a force.
If it's too difficult for you to understand, then they've already told you. Newtonian is for kids to understand the simple version of how things move because it's too complicated. But in reality, it's not a force.
But you can think of it.
It's a pseudo force, which means it's a real force.
It's a fundamental force.
Pseudo means
None of that is relevant.
Pseudo does not mean fake.
Look it up.
None of that is relevant because
not in the scientific meaning, because centrifugal force is also a pseudo force, and no one says that that's fake. You can still be completely crushed like a freaking beer can from centrifugal force. It's a real force, even though in science it's also a pseudo force. Pseudo force just means it's not a force in all frames of reference. That's all that it means.
Thank you for that, Jake. I appreciate
it. Because if gravity's not a force, then centrifugal force is not a force. And no one is dumb enough to argue that centrifugal force is not a force.
Well, it's an apparent force, isn't it? It's an apparent force.
It's also a pseudo
force.
Yeah, apparent. What does the word apparent mean? Non-existent force. That's what it says.
That's not at all what apparent means. Apparent means that it appears to be.
Appears.
What
does the word appear mean?
In a vomit comet, what keeps you up, or in a carnival ride where you go upside down? What holds you into the roof?
Vomit comet. I haven't been on a vomit comet, so I wouldn't know.
Just like a carnival ride where you go upside down.
The gravitron. What they call the gravitron.
Yeah, the gravitron.
I've never been on a gravitron before.
But those exist, right? Or are you denying that those exist?
I personally haven't been on a gravitron, no.
Okay, well...
Sure, so you deny that those exist.
I've been on something that spins, and you are on the side of it. It's not called a gravitron.
So you've been on a gravitron then?
Starship 2000.
What's pushing you?
Locally, they call it a Starship 2000, I believe.
Starship 2000, gravitron, it depends, but depends who, what carnival fucking, maker or ride it is.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah. So what causes you to be pushed to the side?
Well, I would say the speed, wouldn't it? The speed. It's like when you're in a car and you put your foot on the accelerator, it flings you back.
Yeah. Why?
How does it
do it without any force?
Huh? Well, it's the force of the engine of the car. It's the force of the engine of the car, and I'll guess on the ride it'll be the motor spinning you around.
No, but when you turn in your car.
Yeah. So if
You
I'm
get pushed
turning
to the
right,
side.
if I'm turning right, I'm going to move to the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? That's
Why?
called a
Because
centrifugal
because I'm
force.
driving
You know
the car fast. That's why.
that? And it's called centrifugal force, right?
Yeah, there's a force. Yes, there is. No one's
There is a force.
denying that. Yeah, no one's.
But it's an apparent force.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Just
and
like
how?
gravity.
What's the cause and effect of that?
You want to
cause.
deny centrifugal force? This is
I'm
what
not,
flat Earth.
I'm not.
This is
It's
what
your
flat Earth has come to, because now
Yeah,
we
what-
have to pretend
yeah,
that centrifugal
I agree
force.
with you. I agree
which
with you.
now
But
we
what is
have to
the cause
pretend
and
that
effect?
centrifugal force, which we know is a thing, is a
Yeah,
pseudo
who's
force,
making
somehow
it
makes it not real.
Yeah, but
So
who's
the
making
same
it
thing
happen?
applies to gravity somehow.
No, but who's making it happen? Who's giving that? Who's giving it energy? I am, as the driver, putting my foot down on the pedal and turning the wheel. I'm giving that energy towards the vehicle, and that's what's making me move. When I
Actually,
So why don't you go ahead and without the car be the same cause? Obviously you're not the cause. Don't be stupid.
well, the car is, isn't it? The car is the
no,
cause.
no,
Of
no,
course
no.
I am. If I don't get in the car and drive the car, I'm not going to feel it, am I?
And if you don't have the car, you're not going to feel it either, idiot.
Well, we are. That's the only way I can feel it, by using a mechanical device to actually make myself feel it.
And you're not
So
the
what was
cause.
the point?
So when you use an electromagnet and lift up a car, you're
I'm
the
not
force.
using it. I'm not
Yeah, I know,
using it.
you're not making any sense, man.
Oh.
Obviously, if you're controlling a vehicle, whatever it is, it's not you that's
Yeah.
the force, man.
Sorry, say that again. When I'm using a what?
A vehicle.
Yeah.
And you press the accelerator or turn the car or whatever the hell it is. You're
Yeah.
not the one doing. You're not the force, man.
No, but I'm the cause of it happening. Because without me,
No,
it
you're
wouldn't happen, would it?
No, you're
And
not.
without the car, it wouldn't happen either.
Without the engine, it wouldn't fucking happen.
That's my point. That's
If
my point.
you had no
So,
engine in your car, it wouldn't happen.
That's my point. So gravity. What is gravity? What is the cause?
If you have no gas in the car,
Without mass, gravity wouldn't happen.
Without
Yeah,
mass,
no,
gravity
no
wouldn't happen.
fuel in the car, and you're not going to go very far.
Of course not, because that's what provides the power and the energy.
okay,
So you're not the cause, then, are you?
Yeah, but I'm just, you want to get really, really down to all that. But what I'm trying to
You want
say
to do
is,
it with gravity.
huh?
So why can't we? You want to do it with gravity. Why can't we do it with centrifugal
Show
force?
me gravity.
Show me centrifugal force. Put it in a jar.
I can
paint it
get in
red.
my car. I can get in my car, and you can see my body move to the left.
Yeah, I
As
can
I
jump
turn
up
right.
and then
As I turn
fall
right,
down.
because I'm
Yeah.
the cause of
yeah,
I'm
we
the
can
cause of it
no
happening.
without
Why does
again
your
without
car
the
doesn't
gas,
go up?
without the gas.
The gas is in. The
Combusting.
gas is in there. Who drives without gas? The gas is in there. The oil's in there. The brake fluid's in there. All of it's in there. It's a perfect running car.
I can show you gravity. I jump up and I come down.
Yeah, we can.
That's
Well,
you
all you're
jumping up.
doing,
Did you
all you're
cause
doing,
all that
Mark.
stuff
All
when
you're
you're in the car?
doing, real quick. All you're doing, Mark, is when you turn in there, you're demonstrating the effect, just like we demonstrate the effect of
Cause and effect.
gravity
Cause and
with
effect.
weight, not
Cause
cause
and
and effect. Because any one of those things that are not in there, guess what? You're
So
not
they
going
are
to
in there.
get the effect.
My car works perfectly fine.
You're
It works
you're
beautifully.
assuming they are.
My car is perfect. I get in, I turn the wheel, and it goes.
Yeah,
You didn't
asked-
build the car, though, did you? You didn't put anything into the car, did you? Someone
No,
else did
I-
that. So
no,
you're not
no,
the
that
cause
came
of
from
that
Mercedes.
car. So you're not the
Mercedes-
cause
Mercedes
of
made
that
it.
car. Yeah. So you're
Yeah,
not the
Mercedes
cause
company,
of that car working,
manufacturer,
are you?
a
So
manufacturer,
you're
an engineer.
So
An
again,
engineer
you're not the
built by
cause, are you?
actual
So you're not the
engine as well.
cause, are you?
No, I'm not the cause.
No, you're not.
Mercedes, the engineer who
Congratulations, you
built my
finally
car.
got something right. You're not the cause of it moving.
Yeah, so Mercedes are the cause. They're the manufacturer. They made it. They made it. I bought the car, so therefore the car is
You're
mine.
insisting it was
I
you
get in the
before,
car,
though. So
I
you're
get
not
in
the
the car,
cause,
I go
are
very
you?
fast. I turn to the right. My body
So
moves
it's not
to the
you,
left.
though, is it?
Who's driving the car? Me or Mercedes?
Did you make the car?
Me or the car? No, Mercedes made the car.
Did you make
Who's
the car?
driving it?
So
Who's
you didn't
driving it?
cause anything in the car to get there. So you're not the cause of the car moving, are you, dickhead?
No, Mercedes. Yeah, the Mercedes, the manufacturer. They're the cause.
You're not the cause of it moving at all. You get in it, you turn the
Mercedes
fucking
are.
thing
Mercedes
on.
are.
The engine, the engine
Mercedes
accepts
are.
the fuel that's in the
Mercedes are.
car. So if anything, the fuel would be the reason that you fucking move, the cause, wouldn't it, dickhead?
You just said that Mercedes-Benz is the cause for centrifugal force. You know
No,
how
I say
stupid.
Mercedes built the car. They
Yeah.
built.
So what's the cause for centrifugal force?
Me driving the car. Me exactly. Me
Okay.
going
So
to
if
the
I'm
right.
driving a car, is it still you as a cause?
No, that's you driving the car.
Okay.
You just
So
said if you're driving the car, that's you. It's not me, is it?
So humans are the cause of centrifugal force.
If you're driving the car, you're accelerating, you turn to the right, your body moves to the left and goes backwards into the seat. That's you doing that. Because you can change it and move to the. You can go to the left, and your body will go to the right. So who's,
So when I
who's
jump,
making that decision? Your car or you? Depending
when
on
I
what car
jump
you're
and fall down because of gravity, I'm the cause.
No, so when you jump up,
no.
When you jump up and you go down, that's you in the medium of air going downwards because you're heavier than the medium.
Are you in the medium of air when you're driving?
Relative density. Are you sure
How do
you want
know
to
that
go
it's
with
not
relative density right now?
I didn't say that. I'm just all I'm saying is the medium.
Yeah,
Medium
relative to the
plays a
medium that
massive
you're
part.
in.
Yeah, it plays a massive part.
Yeah. What's very interesting about that is you cannot use relative density to ever quantitatively. You cannot use relative density to ever
I didn't say that.
You cannot use relative density to ever quantitatively give a force figure for an object resting on another surface. That's not
I didn't say
possible.
that. I didn't say that. Did you hear me say that?
Yeah, you did. You said relative to the medium.
No, I didn't say relative to the medium. I said the medium that you're in. It depends on the medium that you're in. I didn't say relative anything.
So it's relative to the medium that you're in.
Yeah, I didn't say relative. You're saying that word. If you want to include that word in, that's you saying it, not me. I'm just saying it all depends on the medium that you are in.
Isn't that the same as being relative to
Relative
that?
to
No,
the
because
medium
I'm
that
not
you're in.
adding the word relevant. I don't have to add that in. I'm just saying all
You're
depends on the medium.
irrelevant.
Would you
Yeah.
agree? It all depends on the medium that you're in. So if you're in the water and you've got a
So
rubber
it
duck,
is relative to the medium that you're in.
Oh yeah,
Are
there
you
you
saying
go.
that the
will
object
float on water,
density
wouldn't it?
doesn't?
Plastic duck will float on water, wouldn't it? Depending on the mass of the water. Or
Yeah,
how big it is.
depending on the
medium that
object.
it's in.
Yeah, of course.
Depending on the density of the object,
Yeah,
not
of
the
course.
medium.
Which is funny because the rubber duck's denser than the water that it's floating on.
No, depending on how much water is in the container.
Sure, it is. Rubber is denser than water, isn't it? Am I
No,
wrong?
no, depending on how much you've got.
Oh, so rubber's not denser than water now. Right. That's a new fucking discovery.
You like to swear, don't you?
I'm
Doesn't
Aussie. It
matter.
just comes with the territory, dickhead.
I like it when you're upset.
Oh, let me just
I'm
make
like
a
this most
question
of the
about
time.
this
Just
whole
fuckwittery,
density
annoys me.
hypothesis.
And you are one of the biggest fuckwits I've ever encountered.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're quite welcome.
That's what I like to see. You guys being nice. That's what's up.
Hi, King Kosho.
What's up, Chris?
Kimo's my favorite Poe.
Chris, I hope you're doing that on purpose because your mic sounds horrible.
Can you actually hear me?
Well, that's quiet.
I don't know. I have it turned up all the way.
Keep it right there.
Well, that's not fair.
Oh, it's very fair.
Well, Mark, you did ask earlier, can we give you gravity? Well, yeah, the weight of things, the force that things exert on their surfaces they rest on, that's gravity doing what it does.
Look, Doofus, you've been lied to. Get your head around it. I know it's difficult, but you need a force. You haven't got the force. Einstein took a big, giant...
Doo-doo?
You know what I mean, right? All over Newtonian. And the current science...
Newton took a big doo-doo over Newtonian?
No, he didn't.
No, he
You know,
superseded it. He superseded it.
Right. You know,
No, he didn't.
earlier you guys said that weight is not a force, and that
Jesus
Kimo said it.
Christ.
You agreed with it. Yeah. If you drop something or let something go, for instance, it will accelerate.
Yeah.
And
What's
then
the
whenever it hits the ground or whatever it hits, it's
what's
going to
the cause?
impact a force equal to its weight times or times its mass times the amount that accelerated.
Yeah. So, what's the cause and effect of you picking something up and dropping it?
What's the what?
So you pick something up and you let go. What's the cause?
I
What's the
didn't
cause?
say anything about picking anything up.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I said you drop
said
something.
you pick something up and drop something.
I didn't say you pick it up and drop it. I said you
Okay,
drop
so
something.
if you drop something,
Right.
you're letting go, right?
Yeah, you drop something.
Yeah, you're letting go, so you're the
stop.
cause.
No, you're not the
Negative. Because if you
that's
let
probably-
go, if you let go and there's nothing enacting anything on that object that you let go of, it wouldn't go anywhere. It has to go somewhere. It has to be caused by something. In order for it to go down, gravity has to be a thing.
When he ran off last time, so Kurt was asking him a couple questions about. Let's get away from picking something up and dropping it. You take a ball and you throw it up. All right, and he asked him about the laws of motion, and he ran away from that. So what slows it down? Because according to the laws of motion, an object in motion will stay in motion unless acted upon by another force or by a force.
The ball should go to the moon.
Yeah, so when you throw something up, it's still in motion. Yeah, and what? Point.
When you throw a ball up, Kimo, why does it come down?
It arcs in motion. It's still in motion.
Why doesn't it
But it
go
will
to the moon?
continue to go to that. It will continue that forward motion unless acted upon by another force.
Yes, but we know gravity is not a force. So when you lift a because you don't understand Einsteinian is why this is. When you pick an object up, got the bending of space time. Okay, that is being affected by that object. Any object is in that curvature. Okay, so when you throw something up, okay, the Earth has already bent the time, the space around it, and it just rolls along that fabric. No force is required. Very simple concept. That's why he wins the prizes.
So are you conceding to Einsteinian gravity?
Well, as long as we all understand that Newtonian has been way superseded, and nothing. When
No,
you
it hasn't.
The objects.
Nothing in that article, Kimo, ever came to the conclusion, other than the fucking title of it, but nothing in that article ever said that Einstein was superseded.
No, Newton was superseded.
Or I'm sorry, Newton was superseded. It actually described how each one of these theories complement each other.
And another reason
But
why.
you would have known. But you would have known that.
Why it may.
But you would have known that if you actually read the article. Any of you actually read the article.
Come back is because when you throw the ball and it hits whatever height, it's hit the fact you've now bent the space around it. You've created a gravity well, as it were, and it just bounces back off the fabric.
So gravity is a thing. Congratulations.
No, it's no, because I'm saying the reason why it returned.
You just admitted there's gravity.
Yeah,
gravity
I'm explaining to you the current gravity, the current science. Right? Every object is affected by the bending of space-time. So when you throw something, it's not because it's being pulled back. You're now affecting the space-time around it. You're bending the fabric as you.
So you admit gravity, and then you admit space.
No, I'm explaining it for you so you understand your own current science.
You're doing a very bad job of it.
So go on then, Doofus. You throw the object
Causing the oceans to stick to the surface of the globe.
So Doofus, you throw the object up, right? That ball is now bending the fabric around it. Yes or no?
He's
By a
already
very
accepted that.
inconsequential amount because the Earth is doing all the rest of it.
How long are we going to belabor this?
This is all about
argument?
the bending of the space-time around every object that comes into contact with the fabric.
Chemo.
He's conceded, and we still want to bicker with him.
I just want to chemo.
But no one's conceded, Kurt. What we're doing here is showing the globe earthers their own.
Lael was in the middle of the
site.
sentence, Chemo. I don't think you heard him. I'm sure.
Yeah, did you have Lael turned down, Chemo? Do you have him turned up?
I heard him, but he's super low there. I haven't turned him down.
So you heard him and you overtalked him.
Yeah, I was trying to finish my point off, Drus. What's it got to do with you?
Okay, so here's my question to you, Chemo. If Einstein measured the rate at which that ball fell, would that rate be any different?
You're gonna have to go louder, Chris. I'm struggling.
Will you turn
I can hear him.
Well, ask the question and then Doofus can answer, because I'm not struggling to hear your question.
Okay, if Einstein, if he threw that ball up when Einstein was alive and he measured the rate at which it fell back to the ground, would that rate be any different than the rate of doing it the same thing with Newton?
No.
Okay,
Anyway.
so both of them agree that 9.8 meters per second squared is the rate at which that ball
Yeah, that was a must. That rate had to be. That's what Einstein worked around. But go on.
Yeah, that rate is what we call gravity.
No, that rate comes from what they understood the speed of light. But carry on.
We put the word gravity on that rate of measurement of the fall of the ball. Now, can you disprove that?
I don't get what you're asking. Right now, gravity's not a force, yeah? Equations may calculate the same, get the same 9.8 meters per second per square. That's not the point here, Chris. That's all irrelevant.
I am specifically asking, in the context of that rate being termed gravity, can you disprove the rate at which things fall? Or do you accept that
I accept it. I'm not arguing
gravity,
with that rate. That's not what I'm arguing.
but then you're arguing against gravity. You are arguing it.
I'm arguing against the cause and effect.
The cause of the ball falling to the ground at a certain rate is called gravity.
Which gravity?
The 9.8 meters per second squared gravity.
Right, what is the cause of that 9.8 meters per second squared? And that's where we step in, Chris. We step in and we answer those questions, figure it out, and look at what your current science is, right?
It's called gravity.
That's easy. It's all the dirt under your feet is the cause.
Gravity's the cause. The measurement is 9.8 meters per second squared.
Yeah, something's causing that acceleration. Or apparent acceleration.
Yeah, it's called gravity.
Yeah, earth, dirt, rock.
No,
all the shit that Earth is made up of is doing it.
Gravity,
all of the shit that Earth is made up of is
not
what's doing
arguing
it.
all this. You've got to concede your own science that it's not.
No.
Why do you ask?
no
Why do you
concession.
ask the question? Why do you ask what's the cause? What's the cause when you know the cause? You already said it like
Because some
5
people
times
think
yourself.
some people think it's a force, and others think it's a bending of space-time.
That's irrelevant. The cause
No,
is
it's not
irrelevant
irrelevant.
with being
It's very
caused or
important
not.
that we understand gravity is not a...
I'll give you my answer. The density of that object, whatever the object is, compared to the density of the Earth, is the reason it falls at the rate it falls.
No, it's bending of space-time. That rate, that apparent rate, not an actual rate, by the way, just an apparent rate.
It actually is a real rate. I mean, you can measure it, and it's something that's real.
You can think of it like that if you want. It's up to you. You can use Newtonian if you want, and think of it that way. George Musser, you can think of it like that if you want, but the reality is it's not a force. Now, for simple people, I'm not trying to be rude, but they have said that simple minds and children, Newtonian is the best way to go to understand it in a simple form. But the reality is, the truth is, it's not a force, it doesn't have energy, it doesn't create work or anything like that. Strength has no strength, it doesn't do anything.
I never used the word force or strength. I said the
So,
density of
you
the
know,
object. being measured.
I can't understand why you would argue against your own
Compared to the
science.
density of the Earth,
Star.
and the Earth pulling it towards itself.
Right, it's not being pulled. The Earth is bending the fabric, making the ball move towards. No attraction necessary. If there was an attraction, it wouldn't need to bend the space-time. Space-time wouldn't be bent, and it would just move along a straight snooker table. But the fact that a heavier ball bends the snooker, like you put a big weight in the middle of the snooker table, comes an imprint, an impression, and all the balls start to roll towards. See? No attraction necessary.
That's cool. Can you define attraction for me in the context you're using it, Chemo?
Well, this would be a force, a push or pull.
Attraction is a pushing or pulling force. That's your definition of attraction.
Yeah, I would say there's a push or pulling force.
That is your definition, correct?
That's what I would go.
Okay, so, are you saying the ball isn't pulled or pushed towards the Earth at 9.8 meters per second squared when you
No,
drop
that was
it?
the whole point. It wasn't pushed.
How does it end up there then? What causes it? What is the cause
Earth.
of the rate?
Earth, the ball, the globe, bends the space-time fabric around it. Any other objects that leave the bigger mass will move back towards it because we're in the gravity well, or whatever you want to call it.
Great, I don't care what our science says. I want to know what you believe. I want to know what you actually believe, not what
You have to talk up, Chris. I can barely hear you.
What effect does it have, Chemo?
What?
What effect does it have?
What effect does what have?
What you're describing.
The effect is the apparent acceleration, the apparent attraction, and the apparent acceleration of 9.8 meters per second squared.
Okay, is the apparent water's apparent position on the surface of the Earth, so to speak?
No, so the water's fallen into the gravity well, bending into the space,
Wait,
into the bending fabric.
And apparently where?
Not falling. I shouldn't use these words. We've got to be careful how we describe this. It's
No,
moving
okay,
towards.
fine. It's just resting there in the ocean with the rest of the water, right?
What?
It's basically just like resting down in there with the rest of the water in the ocean.
Just like everything else that has mass, you might say.
Yeah. Right. So we won't use the G word. Okay? Make you,
No, you can use
guys.
gravity.
We don't want to make you
Gravity
guys
is
cry.
You can use gravity. Bending
The
on
effect
space.
the effect is the water sticks to the surface of the globe.
No, it's not sticking. No force here involved.
Well, whatever it is, it's compelled. Whatever word you want to use, Chemo. Don't want to sit here and mince words with you and argue over semantics.
I would say
effect
more contained.
The effect is what you've always denied by trying to play the game, denying the word gravity and all of your semantics surrounding it. Why the fuck are we arguing this? I don't get it. Seriously, guys, I don't get it. Can somebody explain to me why the fuck this is going on?
Calm down. Now, water is conforming because of the bending of space-time. It conforms not because of a force, but because of the bending of space-time.
Fine. No force then. Because of whatever. It's obeying. It's compelled by
there's nothing
space.
compelled here.
Whatever.
It's a normal effect.
No force. I don't care, Chemo. You can rewrite all the physics.
You're making it out like it's a magical thing. It's not a magical thing. It's a very simple I
didn't say it was.
Right, so
I didn't say it was.
Compelled. There's nothing
Just
attractive.
stop arguing that way. Look at the effect. What's your net effect?
Effect. Things appear to fall.
Appear to fall.
Yeah, so when you throw...
So the oceans aren't on the Earth, they only appear to be on the Earth. Is that what I'm getting from you?
No, they appear to be held down by a force.
What have you guys been asking for years? How does water stick to a spinning ball?
Yeah.
Those are your dumb words, right? Yeah, your dumb words.
Yeah, but if we're
Okay, so you've answered that
Be
question.
more technical.
So
and
gravity,
correct.
by any other word, gravity, the effect is the same. The explanation, the answer is there. You've answered your own question, Chemo.
Right, if you're
You do not have
to me like this. Then,
you do not have this cotton candy hammer to wail against the globe with.
Very difficult to gauge. Very simple concept. A lot of your teammates think force. You have to correct them on that it's not
That's
a force.
inconsequential. I'm not interested in debating the semantics of these words with you.
Well, that's you. Fine, good. We've got you to understand
It's
it.
irrelevant.
No, because there's still a lot of people who think there is a force. Just heard us argue, oh, they're the same thing, they're the same thing. No, they're fundamentally
But you're arguing
different.
dishonestly. You're arguing as though changing the words changes the effect.
Mark, you got to delete this, upload it again, and it should load. Do it quickly, though. Upload and just press upload.
Oh, I can see it. It's there.
Oh, I can see. Well, I have to click.
What does any of that have to do with where the sun is?
I don't know.
Nothing.
What does that have
Nothing
to
at
do?
all.
So, yeah, I mean, Mark, you want to talk about that?
No.
Give me one moment. I'm just a bit busy doing something.
So, yeah, curved. Simple for you. You've understood now for a little bit now that's not a force. Gosh, way to go. Well done. But a lot of people are still stuck on this idea that there is a pulling force, pulling
That's
object.
very childish of you, Chemo.
What? What is?
The little game you're playing here, lying, trying to poke at me, saying I said things I didn't say.
You know it's not a force. You accept it's not a force.
I'm calling you childish for it.
Happy
Yeah.
days. We agree it's not a
So what?
force. Everyone's happy.
I don't say, I've said quite the opposite
You
to
think
you.
gravity's still a force, though?
I've explained time and time again why I call it a force and why most other people do. Still, you understand about the different paradigms about Newtonian description versus Einsteinian description. You understand that
Oh
the
my
terms
gosh,
are going to
you
be
sound
different.
ridiculous. Are you really
Oh
going
my
down
god!
that
Oh my
paradigm route?
god! Oh my god! You know, you're not a very good person to have a
Yeah, but you
conversation
sound
with.
ridiculous saying all this nonsense. You're going with the paradigm route. Oh, it depends on the paradigm.
Well, there's nothing ridiculous about that, Chemo.
Yeah, because only one reality. A force or not.
So anyway, you've explained why the water sticks to the spinning ball. That's the end of that. I don't know why anybody would engage you
And
further.
the gas. That's how the gas pressure. That's how you get gas pressure. Oh, yeah?
Atmospheric pressure,
Or
I'll call
atmospheric
it.
pressure, yeah. Well, it's still gas pressure.
Atmosphere.
Atmosphere is made of gas, but you guys make a big
In
deal
fact,
about
you don't even have
container
atmospheric.
walls.
You
Your
don't even have
definition of
atmospheric
gas
pressure anymore.
pressure.
You don't even have that anymore.
You know, the gas in the container doesn't only press against the wall. You could put a gauge in the middle of the gas that's in that container. And guess what? It's going to give you the same fucking pressure.
You
It's
don't even
not the
have
wall.
atmospheric pressure
The
anymore.
walls of the container are inherent in the definition when you're looking at gas in a container. It's going to speak about pressure against the container walls. Why not? That doesn't mean it's limited to that, and that there can be no pressure in open atmosphere. Now, I realize this is very simple, yet too complicated for the mind of a flirt. That's where we find ourselves. That's why we have these silly arguments, because you guys are too stupid and too dishonest to discuss this like actual fucking adults.
Hey, can anybody hear me?
He knows it curved.
I'm not sure who that was,
That's
but
so
yes.
many years.
Is my mic like really bad? I'm in a truck right now.
It's trying really hard to squelch out some background noise, but I can barely understand you.
All right, never mind. I'll do this. I want to. Someone's trying to call me out. I guess it's what's up. I was going to
yeah.
give him about 5 minutes to white knight for SE Montreal, but if my mic is bad, I'll have to do it.
It's reasonable if you're loud.
Well,
It's not too bad,
It's
yeah.
awful. Go on.
The louder you are, the better it is in this
Or
particular
just
case.
listen
That's
to
rare.
yourself on live stream. Check it.
So I'm guessing wanted to have a conversation about the video I posted earlier today. Maybe he has some sort of
Your connection's
defund
horrible.
or something.
No.
Sorry.
It's not working. It's no good. The satellite is down.
I mean, I got the gist of it.
Go on then, what's he talking about?
The video that Earth is Life posted about SE Montreal.
Ah, okay.
WhatsApp wants to call him out.
Yeah, according to SE Montreal, we need to see solar eclipse every month.
Wait, no, are you
He got
serious?
that from Riley. What a stupid thing.
That's some basic shit right there.
Yeah, you're always looking for ways to target flat earthers and not actually look for the truth, right?
The truth is, there's no eclipse once a month.
Oh, we don't know that. We don't know anything
We
about
do
the
because
stars.
we don't see them. We do.
We're still
Come on,
learning
chemo.
about we are still learning about the skies.
Interesting. Wow.
Primitive.
The
A caveman,
primitive
like
now.
a
Okay.
caveman with
and
a
you're
gun.
still learning.
We replaced the club with the gun. I mean, we're more advanced.
We're basically caveman boys. Here
With
we
a
go.
gun, yeah.
And girls.
Cave
And
women.
girls. Boys
Cave
and
women,
girls, we're just
cavemen.
cavemen. There's no need to progress or actually
Living in
learn
caves
anything.
with windows. Ooh, nice. And you American live in wooden caves. Ooh, step up. Wood from stone to wood. That makes sense. So you haven't really advanced. Well, what if there's a storm, a hurricane? Oh yeah,
I mean,
all the houses
you
get
live in
blown
a
over.
council flat, so well, I don't know. You went
All
from
the houses get
you went
blown
from a
over.
cave
Yeah,
to
that's
welfare.
really
I
smart,
don't know.
isn't it? We're such advanced, and we built caves that the wolf can blow down with a huff and a puff.
Wait, which wolf?
The
You think
hurricanes,
that's a true story?
the hurricanes.
Hurricane's a wolf? What the fuck are you smoking, dude?
Well, they huff and they puff, and they blow your American houses down, right?
I don't think hurricanes huff and puff or are wolves.
A lot of homes are built with
But
concrete
do they blow
blocks
houses
in
down?
hurricane areas.
Yes, they do. So again,
That's
we haven't
irrelevant
advanced.
to what
We
we're
haven't gone
talking
to.
I don't get any hurricanes where I live. Chemo, sorry.
Well, if one does come, they're going to blow down your wooden house.
Man, if there's a hurricane where I live, there's
I mean,
going to be a
wooden
lot more
houses.
problems than just a hurricane.
Why would you build wooden houses? What's the point? What's the deal there? Why not just build normal brick?
Well, you obviously don't have any economic or business background, so there's no point in telling you why.
Oh, because you want cheaper houses. Well, that's great, isn't it? And they all just get blown down. Now what? You just rebuild
Or all the
them again?
houses everywhere in the world made out of stone except for
Houses are
America.
cheap.
Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, but we keep seeing a lot of hurricanes with houses knocked down over
I don't
there.
know. I don't know is about the most true thing that you've
All
ever
we
said.
see is houses being huffed and puffed all over America.
You're lying.
Puffed and puffed? What are you talking
This is-
about, Chemo?
He's fucking smoking something, dude.
No, we're talking about the hurricanes that hit America and knock down.
Are you high right now, Chemo? Come on.
There's certain areas that hurricanes even hit. They don't hit the entire damn continent.
Where they do hit, they knock down the wooden houses. Is my point.
There aren't wooden houses where they're hurricanes. They put them out of
Yeah, there are. I mean, there's wood frame construction in Florida.
How silly.
It's usually It's usually not the houses that blow down, right? It's usually windows get broken and sometimes roofs get torn off.
And whole houses get ripped apart.
I mean, it's usually, the ones that get the most damage are just the ones that are facing the coast where there's no windbreak, right? The houses that are even just one row of houses in get much less damage than the ones right on the coast.
No, Jake. We should definitely build all the houses to hurricane standard all across anywhere that a hurricane could ever go, and have the price be 4 times as much. Because Chemo said so.
Yeah, you've got the Japanese across the way protecting from the earthquakes. Oh, quickly get design houses so we can save from an earthquake. The Americans, oh yeah, let's build wooden houses where hurricanes are.
Earthquakes and hurricanes are the same thing. Wow.
Oh my god,
amazing.
I'm talking about the safety of the people. So the Japanese
That's
people are
amazing,
building
dude.
buildings.
Chemo, I don't know where you're going with this. Wood frame construction is very strong. Nothing to do with wood frame construction. It has more to do with
We even have hurricane straps here in the Northwest, and we don't get hurricanes.
I don't even know what the point of this was.
Once again, Chemo has no fucking idea what he's talking about.
Well, I'm just saying the Japanese protect their houses from earthquakes, build them in a way so they're protected, and it seems you guys are doing the opposite.
What are you talking about? Why are there hurricane windows then, Chemo?
I'm just saying, when we see the news, we just see devastation. Oh, look at the devastation.
You believe everything you see on the news? Wow.
We all know that those are just little scale models and crisis actors.
Yeah, right.
Dude, that's CGI, bro. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
Did I
Probably
hear
is as
people
well,
talking to me like 5 minutes ago?
They want you to be scared of hurricanes.
You probably thought that scene in Terminator 2 where the shockwave blows all the houses down was real too, right?
Right. Think like that. That's what they show. They just show houses floating through the river or something down the lake. Just pure devastation, you know?
Hey, you can save that house. If it was made out of stone, it would still be sunk at the bottom.
No, it'd still be standing.